friends. Welcome into the Leadership Sandbox for our 7-minute strategies. I'm Tammy J. Bond, your host, and excited to have you join me as we are diving into all things problem solving. Now, I'm not going to waste a bunch of time on the front end because I got a lot to get through in 7 minutes, because I want to give you a guide to solving problems without all the answers. And you're like, well, Tam, how do we do that? Well, you do it more, leader, than you probably think that you do. But are you doing it effectively? And are you doing it to the benefit of the whole team, not just solving the immediacy of the problem, right? Are we addressing the scratch on the surface, or are we wanting to get underneath it to see what caused it to begin with? As leaders, we find ourselves often in the thick of numerous situations and challenges, right? There's team dynamics and communication issues, and then we're dealing with budgets, and we're dealing with end of year, and we're dealing with how are we casting vision and strategic planning for the new year. All these things are coming at us, and it's in these moments that we can often crave those quick answers to the challenges as they come up, because we get so much on our plate that we're just trying to go for the immediacy of the answer instead of really taking the time to look at the learning opportunity when problems occur, right? There's a learning opportunity there. And when we go too quickly to the answer that I've got it, I know it, I've seen this 100 times, we might be missing something else that could help us long term or help us to not repeat these same problems. So we can fixate, or when we fixate on finding the right answer in the moment for the quickness of it, right? Because we got to move through it. We risk overlooking critical details and insights that emerge from the complexities of the problem itself. And when we overlook those, we overlook opportunities for growth for everybody in the future. And so I want us to pull back, because that desire for speed, if we can just pull back from that, because when that desire for speed takes over, it actually leads to rash decisions and knee-jerk reactions, and ultimately missed opportunities for growth and for you and for those around you. So instead of exploring the landscape of the problem, we rush to judgment and shifting or stifling creativity or blame shifting, right? We limit our understanding of the whole root of the problem. And I want you to think about it this way. If you've ever found yourself in one of those meetings and you're desperately seeking ways to get that one answer to silence the noise in the room because everybody's yammering about the problem, you actually have the skill set to stifle that by asking people to pause and write down what the problem is, bottom line it, and then where that solution is. Because in the pursuit, we might overlook valuable perspectives if we don't stop and say, okay, I know I want it quiet. Everybody stop and write it down. Take to paper, take to the flip charts, get people out of their talking constantly about the problem and get to, all right, we see the problem. Now what, right? If not this, then what? You've heard me say it 100 times. Listen, this is my next thing that I want you to know. I want you to work when you're with your team and problems have emerged. I want you to be willing to navigate through uncertainty by doing just a couple of things, right? There's uncertainty when we don't have answers to the problem at hand. But when we take a moment to navigate these waters by cultivating curiosity, right? Instead of asking, what's the answer or where's the answer? How about we ask, what can we learn from this? What can we explore deeper on this, so that we change our perspective of problem to opportunity? That gives us the moment to do the second part of it, which is foster open dialogue. See, fostering open dialogue creates an environment where team members actually feel safe enough to have a voice and to share their ideas, their questions, their concerns. They may see the problem, they may see, because they're reflecting in the mirror, they may see themselves in the mirror or see the problem a little different than you do. And we want to take a moment to have everybody reflect so we can see how the problem is presenting to the other team members at the table. So important. When we foster that open dialogue, what we also do is that we create those conversations as seeds of innovation in the future, right? Because people are allowed to bring those ideas forward. Now, what do we do when we've got to make a decision, but the information is complete? That's okay. Because I want you to understand that you as the leader are not always going to have all of the information at hand, at your disposal, and have all the facts all the time. Right? But when we can do this one thing, develop a framework for making informed decisions while in uncertainty or under uncertainty. So when we have that moment, let's say, we're in the middle of a session, we've got a problem that's presented itself. We're going out for a product launch. I'm making this up, and we've got to assess the potential for risk. Right? We want to have more voices than just you or one or two of you at the table. Get as many people in there and empower your team to help make calculated decisions that give you more information so you can get to the right decision for the moment. And then you'll know, because I've got a framework. If I need to course correct quickly, I can. All I got to do is go back to my framework, right? And I want you to do this. I want you to also think about this. Use first principles thinking for breaking down problems. How do you do that? You deconstruct a complex problem into their most basic elements. And then when the team is struggling with a tight deadline or whatever, and you're facilitating a root cause analysis meeting, break down the problem into its core components. And then the team can identify where the other inefficiencies are, right? When we can do this, we all get better. All right. I want you to do these other three things real quick and in a hurry. Set clear priorities and guide the teams through those complex times. Let them know that we aren't going to have all the answers that we need, but when it comes to problem solving, trust that you have the right people around you and tell them that, and give them the priorities at hand to solve first. Because then they're not getting all crowded up in their thinking. They're able to pull out and see just what the one problem is. And I want you to embrace flexibility. I want you to be prepared to pivot with new information as it comes to light. I want you to be ready to go, okay, we don't have all the answers here, but let's get underneath it to figure out how we got here, right? And then how are we going to get out of here? That's where answers come, when we can get underneath it. And when you embrace the flexibility of that, it empowers everybody to be in that space of vulnerability. Here, listen. In the world of leadership, seeking answers, yes, it's important, but it's equally vital to embrace the journey of the problem itself. By cultivating curiosity, fostering open dialogue, setting clear priorities, and empowering one another and our teams to navigate uncertainty with confidence, that's what's going to take us to that next level in our leadership. Hey, thanks for joining me for a 7-minute strategy. We're going to dive deeper in next week's episode as we get into reframing problems and the keys to success on exactly how to do that. I'll see you next time in the Sandbox.